about a shot of adrenaline and confidence for Ryan Hughes after such a long layoff to come out here, only the second stop on the outdoor circuit and to pick up a first in the overall.
It looks like Brown's going to get it. They both deserved it, but Brown came back and answered Rhino's challenge.
Plenty of parity in the 125 class this year. Just when we thought it would be the Michael Brown-Ryan Hughes battle to the finish, here comes Craig Anderson, Michael Byrne.
Yeah, it's showtime. Everybody get up out your seat. It's time to represent, because we taking over.
I don't need coffee in the morning. I just need a little James Stewart. Get me going.
Well, I don't want to say there's a new sheriff in town, but there's a new sheriff that's back in town, and his name is 259, James Bubba Stewart.
The most impressive pass, one of the most impressive ones I've ever seen. Oh, wait a minute. He just topped it.
Here to hype the fans up, stand up. When he with it on a big jump, throw your hands up. Shoot out the gate like it was a can. They might come close, but us they can't touch. He home free, man, look at the lead. Rolled up in the Escalade on 23. They say we can't compete with their corner speaks. And when they say phenom, who else could it be? Throw it up.
The season is 2/3 complete with just a third to go and a title still up for grabs. Welcome to the AMA Chevy Trucks U.S. Motocross Championship from Spring Creek Motocross Park in Millville, Minnesota. This is round number 9 of Scott USA Nationals. Todd Harris along with the champ David Bailey and Robbie Floyd filling in for Cameron Steele, who's at the X Games. And David, hot and muggy, but the track looks spectacular.
A spectacular crowd as well to watch these guys go out and do battle. Here comes Grant Langston. In our last show from Washougal, he said, I love the track here at Spring Creek, and being the points leader, he couldn't be happier with the situation he's in right now.
There's the weather, 92 degrees, very humid, clear skies, and the creek is the perfect spot to be. That is until the racing starts. Here's the other spot, the whoop section. Well known here for many years, but David has gotten bigger. And it's already claimed one casualty as Bubba got in there early this morning and had a little bit of a mishap. But this is a very tough technical section.
Well, it's not necessarily bigger in terms of the size of the bump, but bigger in terms of longer. They've lengthened this thing. It's twice as long as it's ever been. You come all the way through, make that left right there, and head all the way back through. This was seen earlier this morning. A rider had gone down. Stewart didn't see him. Hit him at speed. You can see he's got a little dirt over on his left side, but he's walking around. Doesn't seem to be favoring anything. So what that'll probably do is make him mad, and then he goes really fast.
One of the few times I've seen James Stewart at a race not smiling. As we take a look at the points lead, Langston is your new overall leader, Brown, Hughes, and there's Stewart. And we talked to Grant Langston about being the new points leader.
I haven't even won an overall to date, but, you know, I've had a bunch of seconds, you know, behind Bubba as well, who is kind of a ways back in the points. So, you know, the important part was beating the other guys who were ahead of me. And, you know, now I have a small points lead, and, you know, we come to my favorite track of the year, so I'm kind of excited about that. And, you know, right now I just want to maintain that.
Behind him is Mike Brown. This was the scene a few weeks ago at Washougal, the accident that took Brownie out of it. And David, we'll have to find out how he's doing.
Well, here's Brown standing around up there trying to figure out where to go. Chooses wrong. Rhino plows into him. Rhino was able to get up and finish, get some points, but Brown separated shoulder. Lucky he could even be riding today.
It kind of dazed me a little bit when I wrecked, so I got up and I turned around and seen Byrne come over the hill, and then I stepped back. He caught me a little bit, and I think, man, I could go. And as soon as I took off, Rhino came over the hill, and, you know, all I did was close my eyes and hope for the best. You know, I feel like going into this race, 90%, you know, I think the only thing now is just getting my shoulder a little bit stronger, you know, and it doesn't bother me too much. Just go out and do my best, and hopefully it'll be all right.
Wish Brownie the best of luck. The other half of that incident was Ryan Hughes, who ran into him, obviously unintentionally, and he was visibly shaken afterwards. That's not the way he wants to win a race. And our Robbie Floyd talked to him prior to him going to the starting line here in Millville.
Ryan was definitely concerned about Mike Brown and the crash at Washougal, but that was a couple of weeks ago. He's already shaken it off. He's gotten it out of his head. And as far as physically, he says, I'm 100%. I felt like I did the first 3 races of the year. We're about to find out.
All right, thank you, Robbie. A lot of familiar faces and unfamiliar faces in the 125 class. David, as we get set for Moto number 1.
Well, that's the face of Robbie Raynard, his father back there fanning them. It's hot, folks. It's really hot. These guys are feeling it already on the starting line. This is Broc Hepler. He just won the 250A class title at the Loretta Lynn's Amateur National Championship. His first national. If you remember Damon Bradshaw way back in the day coming from Loretta Lynn's, his first national here. I believe he finished 4th. We'll see how Hepler can do here today. He's very solid. I expect a decent result out of him.
As we take a look at the Suzuki starting grid, there you see all the usual players, James Stewart and company, and there's Broc Hepler, 454 on board his Suzuki. So we will see what happens, but as David pointed out, it is extremely hot, the humidity right around 80% plus, temperature 90 degrees, but the track is fantastic, and we are set to go racing Moto number 1 from Millville. David, looks like we've got a clean start. Everyone trying for that inside line, and we'll see who springs out. My, oh my, what a surprise.
Stewart flying sideways off that little lip there, and he seems to pull it off no problem. Look at the gap he opens up. He didn't let off to that sweeper right there. Most people go in there, let off a little bit. Already a pile up, probably from somebody letting off a little bit too much, and
that's not good.
A little bit of a jam.
Ivan Tedesco involved in that one as well. Meanwhile, James Stewart already has a lead, and we haven't even finished the first half of the lap. Look at him fly through that whoop section.
You know what? The thing about Stewart is that he's not worried about timing. He's not worried about anything except how fast can he go. And he doesn't fear the idea that going through there as fast as he wants to is that he's going to plow into one, and kind of off his timing, which slows a lot of riders down. And look at the gap he opens up one lap through that section. Ridiculous. Listen to this power. Doesn't shut off all. You know what? Just take it from here, Todd. I can't even. You know, that happens to me every time I watch this kid. He did not let off. I've been through that sweeper, and you know what? That's a place where people let off. He did not.
Well, I'll tell you what, James Stewart is certainly putting on a clinic, something we see maybe in the latter part of the races. This is Moto number 1, folks, and he already has over a 4-second lead over a very fast field, including Broc Sellards, who sits in 2nd place. And the rest of the crew coming through, including number 105, that's Ryan Hughes. Now, Hughes looking to make a statement today and trying to pick up some valuable points. Everyone is basically chasing the title right now. It is wide open. Will James get it? Will it be Langston? Will it be Hughes? Will Brownie get back in time? So a lot of intrigue here in the 125 class.
You know, it's cool, too. I mean, it's a bummer that Stewart got hurt in Vegas and had to start the series late, but it's thrown a lot of drama back into this class. Now there's 4 riders with a real shot at winning this title. Look at Stewart. Watch him impact right here. Bam! That scares a lot of riders. They don't ever want to end up in that situation, but he's got so much confidence in his ability to handle the motorcycle in any condition he ends up in, and enough strength that he just holds it wide open more than anybody else. He's already told us, you know, Cameron asked him a great question at the last round at Washougal. You know what sets you apart? And he goes, you know, the other rider's a little bit timid. I'm not afraid to crash, get up, crash again, and get up and keep on going. He's not afraid to hold it wide open and go fast, and that was a great example of it in that opening lap. If he pulls that much time on everybody just to that whoop section alone, we could be looking at a minute lead before the end of the series. And you know, I haven't heard it from him, but I think he wants that kind of a lead before this is over and done with.
Well, a great battle taking place right now for second. On the left is Broc Sellards, number 18. 105 on the KTM is Ryan Hughes, and both of them going for the high-risk, high-reward entry into the whoop section. This time looks like Rhino is going to get him. 105 goes into second. Sellards slots into third.
You know, I saw Ryan, there's a little swap there. Lose a little bit of time. Sellards might get him back. No, look at Rhino just pins it. Sorry, I took over your play-by-play a little bit, Todd.
Fantastic.
You know, Rhino, I saw him at Jimmy Button's wedding during the time off, and he's like, man, I don't know what's wrong with me, but he just didn't have any energy in the last few races. And I think that everything that took out of him to have that, what happened to him at Southwick, and then the confrontation with Brown at Budds Creek, and then at the last minute deciding not to ride, all that kind of stress, that just wears you out. And I think this 3-week break is exactly what he needed to get back to the form that Robbie spoke of at the start, and we're seeing that so far.
Broc Sellards now starting to slide up the pace of Ryan Hughes, who sits in second place. Sellards in third, your leader, number 259, James Bubba Stewart, has all but run off with this thing, and just words cannot describe. Meanwhile, Mike Brown in 14th, and remember, he's coming off a separated shoulder. There's 917 Eric Sorby also on the Kawasaki, but Brownie coming off a very serious injury, and Ryan Hughes almost going over the bars there.
You know, if he didn't have the energy that he seems to have today. I don't think that would have maybe been a crash. Look at this. Bam, the front wheel knifes into one of those sand braking bumps, pulls it off, right back on the power, and saves it. Not too many people are able to get away with something like that. Sellards is another kid, really strong, that can pull off something like that. So is Stewart, but further back in the pack, you find guys on the ground after a swap like that.
Well, adding to the intrigue, your points leader, and I hope we haven't given him the ESPN jinx. We interviewed him before the race about being a points leader. Here he is. He's slotted all the way back to 9th place. Number 111 is Grant Langston, trying to work his way up to the pack. Got a terrible start, David. Now the work is really cut out for him.
Well, what he's got to worry about is Ryan Hughes. You know, forget James Stewart. James Stewart is the rabbit at a dog race, you know, and nobody ever beats that thing. I think that rabbit is about 5 million and 0 at this point. You can't beat Stewart. I don't see any way you can beat him. You got to force him to beat himself, but Grant has to beat everybody else in order to win this title.
Back to Millville in just a moment. Welcome back to Spring Creek Motocross Park, Millville, Minnesota. This is round number 9 of the AMA Chevy Truck U.S. Motocross Championships, the Scott USA National. Todd Harris along with the champ David Bailey and Robbie Floyd and James Stewart. I don't know if he was out riding lonely and wanted some company, but he's gone down. Looks like he's okay, back up and riding. And he still has what, 10-second lead? Oh, 13.
Yeah, it's fairly comfortable. You know, coming back from break there and looking at that lead, this is early in the race, folks, and he was gone. This is, take a look at the top of your screen. Goes into that berm a little too hot. He high-sided, falls over the other way, and the crowd, that's the most, usually when he comes by, it's so quick, they don't really get to see him. They finally get to see him a little bit, check out his bike and his new gear, and you know, if he'd slow down a little bit more like that, the rest of the time people will get a good look. Unless you're in the pits, you don't get to see him much. It's just a flash.
James Stewart put on a bit of an impromptu fashion show there for the folks sporting the new 04 gear. He's got his own new boots, new goggles, the whole thing, taking care of Fox and Oakley. Meanwhile, he's got a race to win, and he's got a 13-second lead right now. Grant Langston now getting into the fray a little bit more, moving up to the pack, currently sits in 7th place. We remind you, he is the current point leader in the 125 class.
And he is fast here as well. He's very fast. He likes this track. He's got a good record here. And he looks fast to me. It's not like it's not night and day or anything, the difference between he and Stewart out in front leading.
Here's number 108, excuse me, in 6th place. That's Joaquin Rodriguez. We saw him last year. We first got a look at him really in Europe as the tour started. He's from Portugal. Great rider for KTM.
Yeah, more of a, he's been riding 250s, but jumping back here into the 125 class. And Larry Brooks is, you know, I believe, said, you know, guys, this is time to start thinking about some team tactics here. We do not want to lose this title. It'd be, I think KTM's first, unless I'm missing something. And so Joaquin at the end, it wouldn't be surprised to see him if he still was ahead of Grant. Just make that a little bit easier for Grant, Rhino, and those guys to try to close out this title. And from what I heard yesterday, I didn't get in the truck and listen to every word that was said, but Steve Boniface was not down with that tactic and said, I don't care about these guys. I'm going to do whatever I can to beat him. If I have to knock him down, I will. So he's benched. He's not riding here today, and it surprises me to hear that from Steve Boniface. That's not cool, and you know, he doesn't have anything to gain here or lose, and I agree with Larry Brooks' idea to keep him off the motorcycle.
Well, the bottom line, David, is this is an individual sport, but it's still a business. And if you're riding for Team KTM, and as the saying goes, what wins on Sunday sells on Monday, you have a responsibility to KTM to put up the best foot forward and make KTM as good as possible. And if it's getting them a title by laying back a little bit and letting your teammate win, David, I think that's all they're trying to say. Right,
and the thing is you know, if Boniface was in a position to win the race or win a moto or something, in which he hasn't even been in contention to do so far, and I could understand him being a little bit unhappy with that sort of team riding at this point, but that hasn't been the case. So he's intentionally trying to disrupt the flow of KTM winning a championship, and I think he needs to sit down and think about that a little longer.
Back to racing action. Your leader is James Bubba Stewart, who is all but gone, 13+ second lead. Meanwhile, here comes the rest of the pack. Anderson's in there, as is Langston. And they're all chasing points, those valuable points. It's almost a foregone conclusion that James Bubba Stewart is going to win this thing. There's Langston coming through, number 111 on board the KTM. But it's going to be how close is it as we take a look at Joaquin Rodriguez once again, who's moved up to 4th place.
Look at the energy it takes to get through there. I mean, every time, just one time through there, folks, and you're panting through this section. At the exit of all that, you're like, And then you got the whole rest of the track to go. And Brown, hey, that's not good.
Well, Brownie, I was just about to say, for Brown and his shoulder, the whoop section have got to be just brutal. And Brownie looks like he's called it a day.
Look at Langston pointing. Not sure what he's pointing at. But look at the mechanic right there. Hey, 3. He's holding up 3 fingers. He's like, hey, triple out of there. You can save some time. He's probably been watching Stewart come by. And then he knows that Grant is capable of the same timing.
Grant Langston in a battle right now for 4th place. He currently sits in 5th. Grant Langston, number 111, on board the Team KTM ride, trying to get himself through that pack. A lot of KTM riders out there, David. We've talked about Steve Boniface, but a lot of riders trying to make a name here today. Robbie Reynard, who we saw making the jump back to the 125 on the Reynard Mud Kawasaki, having some problems in there.
Now this is a good track for Reynard. He's got a great record here. He's won here before. Here he is coming into the corner, and his front wheel does not follow the rut. That's just not concentrating well enough. And fortunately, Brandis is able to steer around his bike, and it's up to Reynard now to get up and try to put something together. But you're tired when you go down like that on a day this hot.
Stewart continues to lead. Back to Minnesota in a moment. Welcome back to beautiful Spring Creek Motocross Park in Millville, Minnesota. Todd Harris along with the champ David Bailey and Robbie Floyd, and we are in the midst of Moto number 1. James Stewart is your leader. This, however, is the battle for 6th.
I like the line and the approach right there by Michael Byrne on the inside. Ando over there on the right had done so well at Southwick in the sand, but different day here. A little bit hotter. He might be pacing himself a little bit too much, and that's what it takes. You got to give it all you've got to try to make those moves. That's a place where you can pass somebody towards the end of a race. You know, when you head into that whoop section, you just get close as you can at the approach and just suck it up through there and give it all you've got, and it's a sure pass. And then you can go back to riding the way you were, and then they got to figure out a way around.
Michael Brandis is number 68. He's got a little bit of a battle going on right now with number 17. Looks like Reynard is up and riding again.
Now remember, Reynard was laying on the ground, and Brandis was one that rode around him and missed him. Now he's probably wishing he would have ran over him because he's got some competition right now. And the last thing you need at the end of a moto is some guy breathing down your neck, forcing you to ride really hard when you just kind of want to breathe a little bit and just close out the race without... This is such a tough day. I mean, I can remember racing here, and it was always, you know, the flight home, and Monday was always pretty tough, man. Your feet are sore, your butt's sore, your hands are sore, and you really realize you've been involved in a battle. And it's not a battle with another rider on the racetrack. You're battling this racetrack itself. It kills you.
Well, the temperature extremely hot here today, over 90 degrees, humidity in the 80% range. And we got another rider down, number 120, Steve Mertens, but he'll jump back up and continue on.
Yeah, that was a pretty quick remount. It shouldn't take too much out of him. Another look coming into the corner. Looks like Andrew Short comes in there for the block pass, surprises him a little bit. He goes out over the berm, a little soft out there, and because he was caught off guard, he didn't really focus on that line that well. And meanwhile, out front, even though he did go down once, he's talked about it. He's, I'm not afraid to crash and get up and keep going. Well, he still had a 13-second lead once he got up. And I'm just wondering what's on that pit board from Jeremy Albrecht. Like, what can you possibly say that James doesn't already know that's going on out there?
Don't get your clothes dirty. Meanwhile, in 13th place is Robbie Reynard. Coming up on Broc Hepler. Now, here's a young man, and we told you at the start of the show, this is his first big race.
Didn't get a very good start either. I mean, I didn't notice him up front in the beginning. He's come from way back, but Reynard is fast at this track. I already pointed that out a couple of times. This is an example of it, because even though this is Broc's first national, he's a strong rider, very solid. He was very fast at Mammoth. A tough race at altitude, sandy, rough, just as rough as this track, and he did great. He almost caught and passed Grant Langston for the win.
Well, as that graphic goes by, a lot of riders, by attrition, by heat, by something, have been dropped out. 13 are out of the race at this point, so congratulations to Broc Hepler for just surviving Millville today. It's a beautiful day on TV, but it's extremely hot, extremely muggy, and Broc Hepler doing a great job. Meanwhile, number 259 continues to lead, and we say that because he picked up the whole shot, and within the space of less than a lap, he had a 4-second lead. He's taken that out to almost 30 seconds after a quick fall and a remount. Here he comes again, and now it's time for showtime. Put on a little show for the folks here, David, who have turned out to watch this phenom race.
Yeah, you know, Ricky is Carmichael in the 250 class. It's very impressive, and he's got plenty of wins, all that stuff. not necessarily loved by the fans, you know, and I don't know if that really matters to him that much. He's not mean to the fans or anything, but
misunderstood.
Stewart is as impressive off the bike as he is on the bike, and that's what makes him so loved. And well, I'll tell you, I don't know who loves winning more, Carmichael or Stewart, but they both get the job done.
James Stewart picks up the victory. Meanwhile, Joaquin Rodriguez in 4th place is being spaced way to the back.
He's looking back. He's got Langston back there. Let's see what happens here. He's going to have, if he doesn't let Langston by right here, be surprised. Langston needs those points.
Both of them KTM riders.
Yeah, he's waiting.
He's looking. Joaquin Rodriguez is looking. There you go.
You know, he didn't do that very well.
No,
he did not do that
well,
very
he was
well.
so close to the finish line, I think he all had to stop.
He knew what was going on. He should have done that a long time ago. Hannah did that there for me, and he did it a much better way. It made it look like a real race.
Bruce Sternstrom there helping out with James Stewart. We'll talk to James on his latest victory when we return to Millville.
Hi, this is Dr. John Bodner. It's my office away from home here at the MX Nationals. Come on over, I'll show you what a rig is like. Here we are at the Astros Mobile Medical Center. Come on in. Now we're here in the medical center. This is the main unit where you first come in and get evaluated. Just like your doctor's office, we have a full file cabinet. And as you can see, we already are pretty busy here considering we're halfway through the season. We have a full drawer already, so we're keeping track of everybody here, just like your doctor. Here we have a refrigerated unit for all the medical supplies that need refrigeration, so we can send them from track to track. This is our triage area where you're going to sit, have your evaluation. The nurse can take your vital signs and decide whether you need further care. If that's the case, we'll bring you on back into the main center.
At my age, you want to make sure you're going to be able to have a good life after racing, and the younger riders definitely want to know that they're going to be able to be back next week or in the next 2 weeks. So it's very comforting having the Asterix medical unit there every weekend.
Here in the main center, we can take care of pretty much all the injuries we'll see out on the track in a day. We have an x-ray unit here to take care of anybody with any sprains or fractures. If it is broken, we can go ahead and get you set up, get you splinted. If you need crutches, we can do that as well. And you don't have to go to the emergency room, which is a great factor for these guys.
I think this is vital. I mean, these guys are professional athletes. Dr. Bodner and I come out, we split the Supercross and the Motocross series. To have a physician here on track to make decisions and assess these guys, determine what needs to be done, I think is crucial for these guys in terms of them being able to come out week after week and to participate in such a grueling sport.
Over here is our main assessment area, where we can take care of any injured riders immediately with IV fluids. We need to assess their vital signs, make sure they're okay, and if need to be, we can send them to the hospital, but generally take care of them here. Further back, we have our trainers area here, where we can take care of any of the injuries that don't require any casting. Maybe they want to get back on the track, and it's okay. We can tape them up right here, and they're ready to go. So you're doing a good job there, Eddie. I'm going to head out on the track. I got a couple riders to take care of. All righty. One of the main benefits of having Astros as a supporter for the rig is we can also use them for the riders when they hurt their knees. They're such a great supporter with their knee brace products that with Tom Carson being the rider rep, we'll hook them up with them. They'll get their knee braces, get them back on the track.
This is how it all started years ago with the making and manufacturing of the custom-made CTI brace. What we learned with this, we actually came out with an off-the-shelf product that was easily available called the Astros. This is how we fund and provide the medical services with the Astros Mobile Medical Center. What I do here is provide a fitment for the braces. We have these products on the truck where a guy can come, get fitted here at the track, go home with a brace in his hand. I also can do repairs to the braces, fixing anything from a broken patella cup, a hinge, a cable, or anything that they may need customized for the braces so they can ride the event today.
We mentioned it's really come a long way from initially not having anyone to having a doctor and now a full rig, and we'd like to expand to even a bigger rig because we can always use the space and eventually have our own safety team so that every track we have not just a nurse and a trainer, but a full safety crew of 8 to 10 people that are out there extricating riders every week.
Our thanks to Doc Bodner's crew for doing such a great job. High above Spring Creek Motocross Park in Millville, Minnesota. This is round 9, Scott USA National. Todd Harris along with the champ David Bailey and Robbie Floyd. And there's your winner for moto number 1. That is James Bubba Stewart. absolutely dominating the field today. Had a bit of a mishap, but bounced up quickly and walked away from it. Ryan Hughes also having a great run as he finishes in second as we take a look at the Honda official results. Sellards and Langston round out the top 4 here at Millville, Minnesota on a very hot and very humid day. And the track is extremely challenging. Broc Hepler finishing in 13th place. Right now, let's send it down to Robbie Floyd, who's with James.
Bubba, great run. You pulled away from everybody, but it had a little mishap. What happened in that berm?
Just front end washed out. Somebody blew out the berm and went in there not knowing. You got 40 more guys, 39 more guys coming after you, and it's all right. I'll be back to second moto strong. And, I'm ready to go.
All right, congratulations to James. Thank you, Robbie. As we take a look at upcoming races, August 29th and 30th, Delmont, Pennsylvania, and then we wrap things up with the rescheduled Troy event from Kenworthy's on September 6th and 7th.
Broc, last year you did well. You made a podium appearance as well. You must like Millville.
Yeah, I always seem to get, top 3 or 4 here for the last so many years. So good track for me. It's sand, it's rough, it's tiring, and it's a good, just a good race for me. I always do good, get good starts. That's important in the sand.
But Rhino, good moto for you. You made up some valuable points out there.
Yeah, it was good. I got a good start, and I just tried to ride my pace. I had one person to pass, and I got him in the whoops. And, I was just trying to be smooth, save some energy. It's hot and rough out here today. There's another moto, so I just tried to, I just got to chip away. I can't hope for a big, a big points, gap, I guess, for me. I just got to chip it away, and hopefully by the end of the year, it'll be there.
Were you thinking about a chance for that win when Bubba went down? Did you get signal?
Oh, I didn't even know he went down. He was so far up front, who knows? I'm not trying to concentrate on him. He's head and shoulders above me right now, so I'm just trying to beat the guys that I need to beat. And, so today I got first, and, he's in another class, and there's nothing I can do about that.
Very right.
Thanks a lot.
Ryan Hughes, smart riders. We take a look at the Women's Motocross League, the highlights from the Altex Computers Motocross Championship Series.
Taking a look right now at Steffi Lair, number 110, who's been flawless so far during this series through the whoop section. Not bad. Sarah Whitmore, number 4, she's coming off of a championship at Loretta Lynn's, was able to dethrone number 1 plate of Jessica Patterson to win that, but not enough here to stay ahead of Steffi Lair, who remains perfect for the season. And these girls are getting fast, Todd.
Mickey Keller doing a great job with the WML. Steffi Lair goes 1-1, followed by Whitmore, Satchwell, Suzuki, and Tara Geiger rounding out your top 5. Course repairs underway. It's a good chance to stroll through the pits, and we do that by virtue of this week's Racer X Pit Pass. When we return to Millville, Minnesota, Moto number 2 straight ahead.
Everybody's riding and training together, and it's such a great sport, and it's good to do it on a Suzuki. The first Suzuki I had was a JR80, and man, ever since I've been hooked to the brand.
Just trying to have fun with it at first, and if you like it that much, just keep working at it, and eventually you'll get up here.
The DRZ line's so awesome.
Just like my bike, they're so fast, so easy to get used to. Such a variety to pick.
Welcome back to Millville, Minnesota. It's time for the 125cc Moto 2. Standing behind me, the MotoWorldRacing.com Suzuki of Andrew Short. He finished 20th in that first moto, but in practice, he was able to show us the quick lap around Millville on our Sorby Suzuki Fast Lap.
Probably the toughest track on the circuit next to Southwick. Both of them have a lot of sand, and in the sand, I don't care how often you groom it, it's going to get rough. As we look at the start, comes into the track, makes a big, long right-hand sweeper up over that first rise, down that straightaway into another right-hand sweeper, into the first tight corner, and that's going to send you down into the toughest section, perhaps of all the national circuit, the whoops of Millville. Normally they're tough. This year they're twice as tough. They've been doubled in length. The whoops aren't as tall, which is actually going to make them even harder because last year they were able to jump through there 2 and 2 and 2 and occasionally 3. This year they have to just plow through them more like stadium whoops, which takes a lot more energy. As soon as you get to the first section, you make a left and go back through the same thing again, and by the time you get through there just one lap, you're pretty spent. You got to do that for 35 minutes. So these guys today, you might catch a lot of them out there pacing themselves. After that section, you work your way up to the top of the valley. This track's sitting in the valley a lot like Loretta Lynn's. Doesn't get much airflow through there, so if it's a hot, muggy day like it is today, it's even tougher. The track is adding to that punishment. And as you work your way through this side of the valley, it goes from soft, sandy stuff into some hard pack, which makes it really difficult to choose tires. I always struggled with that when I raced here. And if you remember last year, Stewart choosing the wrong front tire in the first moto, he said, to try to get through the sandy stuff, and he paid the price on all the hard pack sections. Second moto, he changed his tire and checked out on Chad Reed to get the overall. The other side of the valley also got some hard pack, and as you come down out of there, back down into the sand, this is your little run at the finish line, a tight switchback section before you get the checkered flag. And I'll tell you what, with the conditions the way they are, as rough as this track gets, there's going to be some tired riders at the end of today's racing.
Mike Brown has apparently re-injured that shoulder, so we look at the current standings. It's Langston, Hughes, Brown, and then Stewart with 7 motos left. That's 175 points. David's still very doable for James Stewart, but it's going to be tough. He's going to need some help.
Well, I think as he bears down on the field, winning every single moto, and it gets closer to the end, he might get some help. And the fact that riders might start to choke a little bit. They might start making mistakes because they're going to feel a lot more pressure than they do right now, and they're already starting to feel it a little bit.
There is the Suzuki starting grid as we get ready for 125cc Moto number 2 from Millville, Minnesota. A fantastic day if you like the heat and humidity, but the track looks awfully good, and James Stewart has made it look even better. This is Moto number 2 from Spring Creek Motocross Park.
Mike Brown down the inside.
Oh, we got a rider down, and that's going to take about 10 riders out of it. Not that James Stewart needed any help, but he is slotted into 3rd position right now as they make the next right-hand turn, and another rider goes down.
It looks like Langston. It's a KTM. It is Grant Langston. Disaster.
Unbelievable.
Points leader having to come from last on a tough day. And you look at Stewart already into the lead. 3rd to 1st. That's not words for this.
Unbelievable. And folks, it's not like he's racing a bunch of slackers or Todd Harris's out there. I mean, he's got some great riders out there, but he made Anderson look like he was just sitting still.
Remember that Anderson's only national win came on a sand track at Southwick that was just as rough as that. And that's where he got smoked. Ryan Hughes up there in good position. Or no, that's 105, 108. That was actually Joaquin Rodriguez. I thought it was Ryan Hughes for a moment. They're dressed the same, have nearly the same number. Riders going down. Look at Langston on the far inside next to that FMF banner. I think he just got too close to the inside of the racetrack, and you see there's a little edge right there from when they groom it, and he found himself on a little bit of an off-camber right there, trying to squeeze through a hole. Front end washed out, so now he has to come from last. Look at James. I mean, he's going like 5 miles an hour faster than everybody else through there. He just floats through it, and they put a lot of water on the racetrack, too. Look at it, just rails that berm. He's getting more out of that 125 than that 125 really has to give. And, you know, I was just watching an interview with Kelly Slater on TV about the X Games and his thought process of riding away. And he understands the fluidity and how to generate speed by what you do with your body, all the body movements that can help you look a little bit more stylish for scoring and help you go a lot faster, and James understands that.
Another KTM rider down, this time at 61, Josh Woods. And Ivan Tedesco's tangled up in his handlebars, or Woods' handlebars are tangled up in Josh Woods, and he finally gets away. Tedesco pulls away, but it doesn't look like Josh Woods going anywhere in a hurry.
That's too bad for Josh, and, you know, that's the 2nd moto in a row that Tedesco's got hung up in the first lap.
Goodness.
More riders getting hung up.
They're all like the 405.
They're just, it's not funny. I mean, I'm laughing at your comment about the 405s. I can certainly relate. Riders just holding their arms up in disgust, like, you know what, it's a tough day already. I'm over it. Look at Langston already, up to 19th. What a first lap for him. And you know what? That could be the title right there. coming down the stretch, the final moto, the ground he was able to make up right there for valuable points can make the difference at the end of the season.
Meanwhile, 2 other KTM riders out in front, Rodriguez and Hughes, and it'll be interesting to see if Rodriguez gives way to Ryan Hughes. Makes it easy for him, and Hughes is coming around. Looks like he's going to pick up the position.
There goes Hughes past Rodriguez. So Rodriguez is, I'm not sure if he let Rhino by or made that any easier on him right there, but he's probably finding himself in a position like where he's having his best national yet. Oh, shoot, man, why do I have to be in this position where I got to make it a little easier for my teammates? That's tough luck, If he'd have been in position earlier in the season and was having a good series, he wouldn't find himself here. But, I've been there. I had to help Lachine get by for a title. Hannah let me by for a title here in 1983, and it's just the way it goes when you're not in contention.
This is Mike Brown up and riding. Let's check in with Robbie Floyd.
Guys, Mike Brown's doing exceptional out there. He pulled off after moto number 1. Now, I talked to him, and he had discussed with Doc Bonner that he thought his shoulder might have popped out and then back in. It's a little bit loose, so he taped it up, and he looks really good out here in moto number 2.
I think it's fair to say that the championship is on the line for Mike Brown today. He's either going to finish this moto or get a decent result and some points, and the title is still alive. If he drops out, it's over. So there's his motivation.
Mike Brown right now sits in 5th place. That would give him some points, and with James Bubba Stewart on the charge, the guys in the top 3, they just need to garner points every single week. If they don't, it's going to make James's job a lot easier, and it's got to be difficult, David. I've never ridden with a separated shoulder, but for Mike Brown, it's got to be brutal.
I would imagine it is, and he's probably thinking, why of all years did Millville have to double the length of the whoop section with the shoulder injury he has? But he had a 3-week break coming here.
One of the hardest working riders in the history of AMA motocross, Johnny O'Mara was renowned for his work ethic. O'Mara raced in the early 80s in an era dominated by Barnett, Bailey, Ward, and Johnson, but made a name for himself by outworking his competition. This made him a mainstay on the U.S. The Nations team that won 13 consecutive golds from 1981 to 1993. He was a member of the team that started that run and 3 other teams as well. The Yo Show broke through in the States in 1983, winning the 125 National Motocross Championship over Jeff Ward by 9 points. The following year, he added another #1 plate to his hardware, the 250 Supercross title. Johnny O ended his racing career with 16 national event wins. In recent years, O'Mara has been most notably associated with the development of Ricky Carmichael as a rider and trainer. In fact, Johnny oversees RC's whole training program. The O Show still rides quite a bit, but endurance bicycles are his bike of choice these days. When he's not on a 2-wheeled machine or doing stunt work in the recently released episode of Charlie's Angels, he's at home in Orange County, California, with his wife, Gina.
Man, I could go on and on about how great it was to have Johnny as a teammate and a friend. There's his wife, Gina, who trains just as hard as he does and is just as stylish, as you can see. This is Donnie Schmidt's bike. A great local rider from here whose life was tragically cut short, and the disease that claimed him is what they're trying to raise money for by raising the money selling that motorcycle. So I hope the best for all that and wish the best to his wife.
Speaking of his wife, Carrie, she's standing by with Robbie Floyd.
Carrie, your husband was a world traveler. He won the 125 World Championship, 250 World Championship, the 4-stroke national, even won a 125 Supercross Championship, but he always called Millville home. You've got to love this big turnout here this weekend.
Oh, it's been a wonderful day. John and Greta Martin put on a fantastic show. So along with great racing, it's like a big family reunion to have Donnie's fans and friends still here remembering him. It's very, very special. There was no place on earth he loved more than coming to Spring Creek.
All right, thank you, Robbie. We wish the best to Carrie and their family as they battle that disease after the tragic loss of Donnie Schmidt. Meanwhile, back to racing, another great story, and that's of James Stewart. And he's doing things on that motorcycle, David, that are probably illegal in all 50 states, but he is absolutely obliterating the track here in Millville.
Well, he's just doing what he loves to do, and just like in the 250 class, Carmichael hates to lose, probably hates to lose more than he enjoys winning, and I think that's a lot of the motivation that James Stewart shares as well. Langston coming through the pack still. Looks like he's got this pass made on Josh Hansen. In fact, he does move up another spot. Each time he passes a rider, more points, more chance at the championship at the end of the season.
Well, Grant Langston has done a great job after that terrible start. We remind you, 3 riders are out by virtue of some of those accidents. Let's look at this one more time. Grant Langston jumping his way up into 7th place. And as David pointed out, points are at a premium for Grant Langston and all of Team KTM. Ryan Hughes also in the hunt. They're all trying to track down those valuable points to get them that title. Meanwhile, Mike Brown has pulled off once again, so he is losing points. Let's check in with Robbie Floyd, who's with Mitch Payton.
Mitch, what's the outcome with Brownie? I saw him pull off 2 motos. That's not what you're expecting today.
No, he, you know, after Washougal, he popped his shoulder out, and he thought it'd be all right. Going down into hoops, the first moto popped out again. So we taped it up, and I mean, he had to try to ride, or else kind of the series is over. So he just couldn't do it, I guess. So he pulled it in. So it's over.
Too much pain.
Guess so.
Well, a tough day for Mitch Payton. This has not been his weekend. Andrew Short in 5th place, and our best wishes to Brownie. Hopefully he'll heal up and be back, and I'm certain that he will, but it's a tough place to heal up a shoulder, especially through the whoop section.
Yeah, this whoop section has been really tough on the riders all day. I don't even know how Brown was able to get through there once. And I'll tell you what, somebody coming back from an injury, while we're talking about injuries, Robbie Raynard injured in a weird accident at Mount Morris, hit a 4-wheeler that was crossing the track. He's back in top form, has caught and passed Grant Langston, who has been on the move, the series points leader, so it's great to see Robbie back in top form.
We'll be back to the conclusion of the 125 Moto 2 from Millville in just a moment. And welcome back to the AMA Chevy Trucks U.S. Motocross Championship from Spring Creek Motocross Park in Millville, Minnesota. This is round number 9, the Scott USA Nationals. We got a nice battle going on for second. The battle for first is pretty much over. It was over when the flag dropped, but the battle for second looks very good as James Stewart continues to lead this race.
Rhino down the inside, muscling his way, trying to pick up a couple more points for the title. Can't get it done. I thought that when, he looks like he hit neutral in the corner right there. You can hear him rev it. That's all Rhino needed just to make it a little bit easier, but I think he was getting ready to go through this section just crazy anyway to try to get him back. Heading into the first section, Sellards went over the berm, and I thought that was putting Rhino in position to make the move. Listen to this again, see if it's what happened. That had to be neutral right there.
So Brock Sellards missed shifts in the corner, and that gives Rhino another position. Meanwhile, the white flag is out for number 259. This may be the best part of the weekend, the white flag and James Stewart. They seem to go together like peanut butter and jelly. He's absolutely going to put on a show for the fans because he's got such a huge lead, David. What do you want? You want some knacks? You want some no-handers? What's your preference?
You know what my preference is just watching this guy go fast.
That's
the
true.
First lap is the most impressive because that's when he's just trying to make everybody go, you know what, forget it. I thought we might have a chance. It's been a 3-week break. And this guy's even faster than he was at Washougal. Forget about it. Let me just beat everybody else. I love the first lap out of James. It's all out.
Well, James Stewart picks up yet another checkered flag. He gets a 1-1 victory this weekend in Millville, making it look easy, as he has done in the past. As we look at the Honda official results, it's Stewart, Hughes, Sellards, Rodriguez, and Andrew Short. Grant Langston finishes with a respectable 7th, but that'll cost him some points. Broc Hepler, a very impressive 11th place. Right now, let's send it down to Robbie Floyd, who's standing by with our winner.
Well, the 125 win goes to James Bubba Stewart. Congratulations, Bubba, out there. You made it look easy, and those whoops didn't seem to be a problem for you.
Coming from Florida, you know, I get to ride them all the time, so they, you know, it's good. But those guys rode a good race today. You know, I was on my A game again today, and it was hard. I had to pull through. You know, I had a scary first earlier this morning, and feel good. My Kawasaki pulled it out.
Ryan Hughes, who came in there.
I don't think I could do it without it. So, you know, my mechanic, Jeremy Albrecht, everybody's done a great job. You know,
just getting
having a good time.
Let's talk about championship. You made up a lot of points out there today. Everything looks like it could be going your way for that final event in Troy.
Yeah, you know, I don't know how Langston did at all, and I don't know how Mike did either. But and I got to worry about Rhino. I still got to catch him, and I mean, he's done a pretty good job.
Got second in that moto, would have got second.
Oh, now it's time to go to war. On it.
Congratulations.
Thanks. I'd like to thank Team Chevy Trucks, Kawasaki, my mom and dad, Rich Holmes, Oakley Fox, Jim Harris, Gypsy Be Strong out there, dude, and everybody. You know, I'm pumped.
Pumped indeed as he picks up another overall. As we look at the Honda official results, it's Stewart 1-1, followed by Hughes, Sellards, Rodriguez, Grant Langston gets a 5th, so a very solid performance for him. Let's send it back down to Robbie Floyd.
Congratulations, Brock. 2 strong finishes and a podium.
Yeah, you know, things worked out today. I always do good here at Millville. Always get good starts and always have good results. So
Better start, maybe you'd have a run.
I like the track. They work hard on it, and it's got a lot of lines, and it's tough. It's so hot, but I did my best. My YZ250F got me off to a great start, and you know, them guys were going fast. There's nothing I could do to them.
Rhino, congratulations. 2-2, that's the best we've seen since Hangtown there. You took 1-1, but this has to feel like a win for you.
Yeah, it's a win, you know, for me, 2-2, you know, because like I say before, there's nothing I can do about James. He's unbelievable, you know. I think he's probably one of the best riders that's ever ridden a motorcycle, but the only thing better than winning is this water here. That really hurt me.
Tough out there today.
Yeah, that hurt me, and you know, I got a bad start and just kind of picked people off one at a time, and I was just hoping Broc would make a mistake and, you know, get a little tired. I just tried to be consistent, and finally got on him. He made a mistake, and then I just tried to charge for a lap and then just settled down. And you know, my Red Bull KTM was working awesome. You know, all the guys at KTM, you know, Alpine Star, Oakley, Troy Lee, DC, Dutton Motorsports. Thank my wife, my kids, everybody at home. It's awesome.
He's tired, but he's got a smile on his face. He's in second in the points.
Thank you very much, Robbie. Congratulations to Ryan Hughes. Well, David, what a day as we look at the point standings. Langston still has a 16-point lead, followed by Brown. Stewart's closing in quickly. Your thoughts? Can he get it done?
It can get done, but he's going to have to hope for a little bit of help. Hughes and Langston are going to have to blow it just a little bit here and there, but what a job by Langston to come from so far behind the second moto to salvage the day. A great job by Hughes to bounce back after feeling weak for the 2-2. Or in his mind, a 1-1. And Stewart, what else can be said? The kid is perhaps the most spectacular rider to ever ride a motorcycle, as Ryan said.
Amen. So on behalf of the champ, David Bailey and Robbie Floyd, I'm Todd Harris saying so long. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.